Every shot fired by the Houthis will be looked upon from this point forward as being a shot fired from the weapons and leadership of Iran. And Iran will be held responsible and suffer the consequences, and those consequences will be dire. That is a statement from the President of the United States just moments ago. I have nothing additional to share, but our message to Iran is you better take this president seriously, and I think the Houthis learned that the hard way this past weekend. As I said in my opening remarks, there's a new sheriff in town, and this president is not just going to sit on his hands and allow terrorists to launch attacks on commercial vessels and U.S. naval ships. Those actions will not be tolerated.
President Trump ramping up the pressure campaign on Iran-backed Houthi rebels. He vows they will be completely annihilated, as he put it, as American airstrikes continue to pound locations under their control. Retired four-star General Jack Keane joins us this morning. Great to see you, General. Let me ask you this. Do you think Tehran will be deterred by Trump's threats?
Well, I think it's his actions that are really making a difference here, Ashley. This is the most consequential attacks that are on the Houthis since they began to attack the ships in the Red Sea back on October the 19th, 23. And let's face it, I mean, they have been successful. They have shut down 70, 80% of the Suez Canal shipping. And they have, I mean, for months, no U.S. warship has dared go through the Suez Canal. Think of that. Even the United States Navy has been impacted by this. So this is an air campaign. They've done 89 strikes to date, and they're going to continue it. And the fact that he's going to hold Iran accountable is really the issue, Ashley.
Yeah.
The CENTCOM commander, who is currently serving, during the Biden administration, he recommended when the Houthis were attacking and Iran's proxies in Iraq and Syria were attacking our bases, he recommended over 120 targets inside of Iran, Ashley, all military targets, nothing to do with economics and oil, nothing to do with nuclear enterprise,
right,
just to punish Iran and achieve deterrence. I think that's got to be on the table here with the president. He's implying it is when he says, I'm going to hold you accountable if you continue to supply them. So, yes, I think we're going to see some deterrence achieved here. It may take some time. The Houthis were at war for 7 years with Kingdom of Saudi Arabia before a ceasefire. And they were willing to, and they figured out how to sustain an air campaign that was aggressively conducted against them. They do a lot of their business underground, and we don't have people on the ground to figure out where everybody is. It's more challenging to target, but I think we'll get there.
JFK files, breaking JFK files confirm the government lied for 60 years. CIA teams, FBI cover-ups, and deep state coup that changed America forever. This is it. Final proof, the truth they swore you would never see. Trump has forced the release of over 1,100 classified JFK assassination documents, and they expose what is beyond explosive. The day after the assassination, Gary Underhill left Washington, D.C. in a hurry. Late in the evening, he showed up at the home of friends in New Jersey. He was very agitated. A small clique within the CIA was responsible for the assassination, he confided, and he was afraid for his life and probably would have to leave the country. Less than 6 months later, Underhill was found shot to death in his Washington apartment. The coroner ruled his death suicide. The law of the land, the general misconception is that any statute passed by legislators bearing the appearance of law constitutes the law of the land. The U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and any statute to be valid must be in agreement. It is impossible for a law which violates the Constitution to be valid. All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are, in fact, null and void. If people were to ever find out what we have done, they would chase us down in the streets and they'd be lynched. And we actually have that quote here from him, but I can't seem to pull my fingers on it right now. Can you? That's all right. We'll move forward to the next one here. Bush Sr. was involved in a JFK assassination plot. We have pictures of him being there in the area in Dallas. Breaking: JFK murder confirmed as an inside job. CIA files unsealed. The biggest cover-up in American history is crumbling. The newly released JFK files confirm what they never wanted you to know. The assassination was an inside job, planned, executed, and covered up by the very agencies sworn to protect the nation. This isn't speculation. This is documented facts. Trump signs EO stating that he will ignore all lower court rulings until SCOTUS rules on the constitutionality of activist judges attempting to usurp executive power. Breaking, the Supreme Court just sided with Donald Trump, blocking the lower court's order forcing Trump to give aid to foreign countries. Graceful. Understand, a lot of people thought the entire Robert Hur special counsel investigation was a big fat nothing burger. Now only they're starting to realize what it means for special counsel appointed by Biden's very own DOJ under Merrick Garland to have discovered the sitting president had, shall we say, cognitive issues.
Document I call the Eagle 2 document. It purports to be from the Federal Bureau of Investigation to Senator Edward Kennedy, classification top secret, written on July 7th, 1989. During the tenure of Richard Helms as director of the Central Intelligence Agency, decisions were made by the director with implied approval of the Oval Office to draft a blueprint and put into motion a plan by which the CIA could have as much funds as and when needed without the knowledge of Congress. The 5 experts picked were Edward Lansdale, who ran the CIA activities in Vietnam, William Colby, who was put in total command of the blueprint operation when enacted, George Bush, who asked to receive approval to have his top aide Richard Armitage to be brought aboard, and Lieutenant Colonel Robert Ferreira, a top CIA asset. The master plan called for the CIA to enter into the drug smuggling business in total and complete fashion. General Lansdale would handle all the distribution network and collection services within the military in Vietnam. See, this is why all the veterans came back addicted to heroin, because they were sold it by the CIA. The operation was given the name Eagle 2. Here's where it gets crazy, folks. Before the operation was really off the ground, Colby started his phase of elimination of dissidents, and he did so under the code name of the Phoenix Program. Colby became insane with his power, and before he was finished with Phoenix, over 20,000 suspects were executed, and over 2,500 U.S. citizens were accused by Colby of being collaborators, and they vanished. That was too close to all being made public, so Helms, who in the meantime had formed a totally strong relationship with Baron Philip du Daphne, who represented the real capital of the world, the Rothschild Empire, decided to stop Operation Eagle 2 and start another clandestine money-making operation and leave Japan. Baron du Daphne, by the way of information, later took complete control of the international organization, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, headquartered in Paris, France. So this is how the deep state works. This is how it was formed. This is what we mean when we talk about the intelligence community being international, it being co-opted and actually controlled by people that aren't technically in office of CIA. They're shadow controllers. If you're a guy and your wife manages all of the money, how are you going to cheat on her? How are you going to go have a nice steak dinner with your mistress if your wife's going to start asking questions about the $200 bill on the next credit card statement? What you need to do is go do a little something on the side to get some cash of your own so you can pay for your nefarious activities outside of the oversight of the money manager.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Harrell here, LFA TV. Look, we're getting ready to start live from America at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I wanted to quickly jump on here as we're getting ready for the show here to let you know that Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered the release and the declassification of the Benghazi files, which is the first step in going after somebody that should have been locked up in Trump's first term, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Justice must be done, and we need to go back and revisit what Hillary Clinton did in Benghazi before and after. The emails, all of it. The bleach spit, the hammers. I wonder if that was the same hammer that was used on Paul Pelosi. Anyway, folks, big shout out to Pete Hegseth. Benghazi files ordered to be classified and released. JFK files, the rest of those coming out today. It's going to be a big one. See you at 11.